in my research, I have yet to find anything that is effective when it comes to lessening that tone for people. Now, am I open to that introduction? 100% hell yes, I am. I mean, with a person, you will know the minute that becomes a reality when that person becomes the richest person on the planet. Because I know people that would pay any amount of money for that relief.
This is the Alden Report.
I'm super excited about our latest program. Look, we've been on television for close to 20 years, literally selling hundreds of millions of dollars worth of products and services that have had a positive impact on people's lives. We've created millionaires. If you've ever watched television, you've most likely seen me on television, not dressed like this, but in a suit and a tie. Listen, we've re-engineered the process. We're allowing people, a small group of people, whether you're an author, whether you're a business coach, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you have a program or a service that you feel as though that can have a positive impact on people's lives, and you want to up-level your game. You know, you're tired of what's going on social media. You're tired of AI is not kicking in. You're tired of all the money that you spent and you're not seeing any return. You're tired of all these fraudsters out there that tell you they're going to put you in Huffington Post or USA Today or Forbes, and it's nothing just but a joke. You want to be in front of millions of people every single day all over the country. Folks, we've been doing it for 20 years. We've re-engineered the process. We've made it possible for the average everyday person to participate in this. If you want to up-level your game, if you truly want to build your profile, if you truly want to get in front of millions of people every single day, send me a direct message at Mike Alden. See it on the bottom of the screen. At Mike Alden, put TV in the message, and I will get back to you personally and see if you're a good fit for us. Again, send me a direct message at Mike Alden. Send me the message TV, and we'll see if you're a good fit.
This is the Alden Report.
All right, my name is Mike Alden. We are here in Blue Vase Studios, adjusting my microphone a little bit. Of course, I got my 99-cent glasses, and I'm excited for my next guest because it's something that I think a lot of people don't do enough of, which is taking enough time for themselves to essentially kind of slow down a little bit, relax, smell the roses, enjoy this planet that we live on. My next guest is a U.S. Army veteran. He's a best-selling author, and he's also an entrepreneur. And he's here to talk about his company and what it's doing for not only entrepreneurs, but people for all over the world, and how his system and his program and his company can help you do what I just talked about, which is kind of just like, let's just chill out for a little bit. Let's relax for a little bit. And I've learned that success can actually be begot through silence. Please help me welcome Wayne Altman. Wayne, thanks so much for being here, man.
Mike, thank you very much for having me. You nailed that, by the way.
That was good, right? That was good. Right off the cuff.
Yes, you are hired, sir. Yes, I will bring you with me everywhere. That is an absolute banger. Thank you.
It's almost like I've done this before. So
yeah, all right.
All right. So your story, one part of your story, it's not a big part of your story, but you're an Army veteran, and but I believe you suffered with tinnitus, which is like a ringing of the ear. Was that something that happened to you as a result of your career in the military?
100%. Now, the Army would dispute that. I have approached them with, hey, you guys, this is what's going on, and they absolutely they disavow that. I was a member of 8th Engineer Brigade in the Army, bridge builders, demolition, and they operated what's called a MICLIC. It's a rope of C4 that clears mines from your path. And when that rope of C4 hits the ground, it creates a very concussive explosion, and hearing protection, especially the hearing protection we were offered, really was ineffective. As I can tell, I walk around with this screeching. The thing about tinnitus or tinnitus is it's different in every single person. It sounds different in every person. And so, yeah, it's a problem.
So, Okay. Well, I think I'm a lawyer, right? But I remember seeing some cases about some of the ear protection that were sold actually to the military, and it turns
Yeah,
out it was in
3M.
fact it was 3M, right? And it was in fact effective. So were you a part of that? Were you able to participate in that?
Unfortunately, no. But look, I'm very proud of my service. I'm very glad to be of service to this country. I'm surrounded by people that were worth serving for. So really, I don't dwell on that. I am more of an action of, okay, here's the situation we're in right now. How can we make this better? And what you said about relaxation, that is exactly what Melody Clouds is about. We're about treating people with PTSD that need our help. We are about people that if you have a tinnitus, if you have tinnitus, and want an option of maybe relieving some of that, we're there for you as well. But really, it's about relaxation and helping people get to a place where they can kind of just chill out for a minute.
So is it tinnitus or is it tinnitus, or are we talking about two different things?
Nope, we're talking about the exact same thing.
Pronounce
In America,
okay.
In America, it's tinnitus.
Okay.
People in America say tinnitus, kind of like aluminium in England. It's aluminum. Okay.
Or
but
vitamins in the UK and vitamins
vitamin,
here.
exactly.
Okay.
The way it's spelled is tinnitus.
Okay.
But people in the US call it tinnitus. Now, I had a podcast, it had an interview. She called it tendinitis for 45 minutes, and it drove me out of my mind.
We actually sell some products that can help with that. But so before we get into what Melody Clouds is doing, and which I do think is extremely important, and that's why you're here. Talk about. I know you're in a good space now, and you have great energy, obviously. But talk about the kind of pain that you're in. When I say pain, not necessarily, and maybe there's a physical pain, but I'm talking about you are tinnitus, from what I'm told, is not necessarily curable. It's treatable. But so all day long, are you hearing, like right now as I'm talking to you, is there some sort of ringing going on in your ears right now?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes it very difficult to hear.
Okay. And I'm a big fucking pussy, and so like I mean, is there a high suicide rate for people who have this, because it must drive people crazy?
Yeah, yes, there is definitely indication that people are kind of self-graduating themselves. The CEO of Texas Roadhouse Restaurants specifically mentioned in his note to his family of this issue. And I only discovered that after I discovered, for me, these binaural beats that really do help me. I go to sleep to them every night. And that's the only time I hear silence. And most people do not realize what hearing silence is like. A lot of people can just go into a room and no one speaks to them and they hear nothing. That is never the case with me unless I'm listening to a binaural beat.
Now, tinnitus, is it something that usually happens with some sort of like acute injury, or are people born with it? Do people develop it? Do we know exactly how it comes about?
Yeah, it is actually it's one of the byproducts of the injury to that auditory nerve. So you are hearing the injury to the nerve. Similar to if you bang your elbow on a table, you feel that twang. That's what you're hearing when your auditory nerve is damaged. And that's what makes it potentially incurable. It makes it very difficult if they're going to cure it. It makes it very difficult to do that without damaging the rest of that person's hearing.
Yeah, I mean, that was my next question, and I'm someone's kind of just I don't know enough about it, right? But when are there instances where you could just kill the nerve? Because like when I have friends that have just chronic back pain, and it's nerve damage, and it hasn't been cured, and so you would think, oh well, just kill that nerve, right? I mean, is that oversimplifying it? I mean, can that be done? I mean, are there ways to cure it?
Unfortunately, if you did that, theoretically, you would deafen that individual, because I need what's left of my auditory nerve to hear the words that just came out of your mouth.
And it's in both ears?
It's in both ears. Actually, the way it manifests itself isn't even in my ear. It is for me, it's in the middle of my head. So I hear that noise in the middle of like a sound in the middle of my brain. And it is maddening.
Holy shit, man. Like,
Yeah.
man, I can't empathize with you because
Well, I will tell you this, Mike.
just,
I will tell you this.
Yeah.
I stress in every single time I talk to somebody about this that everyone listening to this needs to jealously guard their hearing.
Mm-hmm.
I've had outreach from dentists who complained to me that the drills that they used caused tinnitus in them. Musicians that they are play on stage near these massive amps. A lot of musicians that not only become deaf, but they're left. I know deaf people that still have tinnitus. So can you imagine not being able to hear anything but this ringing in your ear or whooshing? It again, it's different in every single person.
Okay, so let's go back to the moment when you realized that you had it. So I'm guessing you were still enlisted.
Nope.
Oh, you weren't. Okay,
It was 30 years later. Hey, let me tell you something. I knew that I heard something. I knew from these explosions that I had this issue. I didn't know what it was called. I didn't know if it would go away. But I went 20 some years after serving. I got a letter in the mail from the Army about the Million Veteran Program. And they were requesting from me a sample of my DNA so they could study it and see if over time there was any issues that I was having. And look, I'm a man of service. I want to serve people around me. So I agreed to do it. I go to, and in the back of my mind, I thought they really want to create a super soldier and I'm the guy they selected. So I go, the lady takes a vial of blood, very cute nurse. She says to me, we're running a blood drive. Would you mind giving blood for the blood drive since I have vein open? I said, hey, leave me enough to get home.
Right.
I'm good. Let's go.
Right.
She takes blood and she says to me, she says, we were talking the whole time. She says, Wayne, when's the last time you had your hearing tested? And I was like, man, I don't remember doing it since, being in the military. She goes, come on. And she grabs me by the arm and she takes me down 2 doors down. And this very cute audiologist sits me in the chair. She had nobody in there, sits me in the chair, puts some headphones on me, and I could hear them laughing hysterically behind me during this test. She comes out. She says, oh, man, you are screwed. I mean, she goes, you only have about 30% of your hearing left. And I said, I have a ring. She goes, yeah, you have tinnitus. You have tinnitus, and we can offer you hearing aids to help you with both.
Okay.
So I said, okay, great. And she goes, but you know something, Wayne? She goes, I knew you had this problem, hearing problem, before you ever sat down. And I went, that's crazy. How? And she said, because you watched my lips when I was talking to you and not my breasts. And I was like, they're magnificent, by the way. But I mean, you mean
her lips are magnificent?
Her breasts were magnificent, but she could tell I was reading her lips, and I didn't even know I was reading people's lips.
That's interesting. It's like it's truly like an animal instinct, like an adaptation. But yeah, okay.
Yes, you're going to replace the stuff that you've lost without even. I did that without even knowing I was doing it. So when COVID hit and everybody decided to wear the masks, I've got a ringing in my ear and you're covering your face so I can't hear a word that's coming out of your mouth.
Hold on. So when you sat down and she asked you for the hearing test, you knew you had that ringing in your ear?
I did.
Okay.
I did. But I didn't know what it was, and I never had anyone to talk to about it.
So, okay. So here's where I want to get to. Like, the only thing I can relate to is like myself. Like I'm a bit of a hypochondriac. Like I was literally just sick a couple days ago, and I get just like massive anxiety over like stupid things, like just I'm congested, and you can probably tell a little bit right now. So when this starts to happen to you, do you start to freak out a little bit? Like this is 24/7. You're not just congested for a couple of days. This is your entire existence. Is it maddening?
Yeah. And you know what? But again, you find these ways of adapting. You find these ways of, like, look, you have a sore leg, you limp a little for a couple weeks. You know what I mean? So these things become habitual. Look, I'm not the smartest guy. Okay. I'm really not. And when I knew that this was becoming an issue, I still didn't go to a doctor to have them diagnose it and possibly treat it. Now I know that there's really nothing that they could do for me anyway. So bullet dodged on that. It still sucks. It's still, it's not something that I'm particularly proud of, but you know what? We're men and we kind of suffer through stuff a little bit more than,
Is there a point in the day or in a 24-hour period where it's worse than others? I think I know the answer, but is there a point in your day in a 24-hour period where it's worse?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. When I go to bed at night, I have two issues. Number one, you can tell by my energy, I'm a mind racer. So I have all these thoughts going through my head, what I didn't do, what I need to do, and what I'm doing. So that's number one. And the second thing is, the quieter it gets, the more and the louder that ringing. So you and I talking, it can distract me from hearing this. But when I go to bed and you're not around, man, it's just loud.
How do you sleep? I mean, I know how you do now, but before
Yeah.
and I know we're going to be talking about your company, Melody Clouds, and what you're doing, what you've done for yourself. And the genesis of it is usually where a lot of great companies start, where it usually starts when there's a problem that you have, and then you find the solution, and then you realize it's a much bigger problem. But again, we're talking with Wayne Altman. Wayne Altman, he's an entrepreneur, Army veteran, and also the founder of a company called Melody Clouds. And we're going to talk a lot about what that does for you. But so when you are laying down, and you have that ringing in your ears, how do you sleep, man?
Yeah, you ask the best questions, okay? And here's how
to
it
me
works.
it almost seems obvious, but I'm just
no. Believe me, dude. Believe me. This is a perfect question. Okay, so exhaustion. You sleep, or for me, I'll stay up late, 2-3 o'clock in the morning. I can still be trying to distract myself from this issue. Okay. Finally, when I lay down, I'm just so freaking tired that I would just pass out from exhaustion and get up the next morning and go at it again and immediately be running. Look,
do you fear, or did you fear waking up in the middle of the night after you fall asleep? Because once you wake up, then it starts all over again.
Happens all the time. It happens all the time. If I get a cold or get congestion, right, I'll wake up in the middle of the night. I'm up. It didn't matter that I fell asleep 15-20 minutes ago. That does not matter. Unless I am completely exhausted, I am up and I'm ready to go and man, thank God for my wife. Thank God for my wife, because no other person on the planet could put up with it. That, and try watching a movie with someone with a profound hearing loss. They need the volume up. You are like, damn, dude, why is the volume up so high? Why are you listening to this at a 45 volume?
Wayne, what are the numbers worldwide of people that have tinnitus or tinnitus?
Millions of people suffer from this. And, you are asking about, so there are things that people do that make this problem worse. So caffeinated beverages, they've identified caffeinated beverages as something that make this ringing worse than it would normally be. Anything that would be make your stimulants, any kind of stimulants on your nerves will stimulate your tinnitus.
Oh, see, I thought the energy that you have now was somehow chemically induced. This is just you naturally.
This is me, baby. This is all me, 100%. I am, unless I am complete, and you can ask every person I know. They're like, look, man, you better get a good night's sleep before you deal with him, because I'm running as fast as I possibly can at all times.
When I meet people who suffer some sort of traumatic injury, which is essentially what you have had, or some sort of life-altering injury, and they're still here, they seem to have the very similar disposition that you have, which is I could just tell just by looking at you and listening to you that you're grateful for being here, just to be on the planet. Have you always kind of had this outlook in this kind of energy? Have you always been this type of person, or did you realize like, okay, I got this thing, I don't want to leave the planet, and I'm just gonna just deal it, and therefore I'm gonna be happy? Like what, does that make sense?
I am, yes, and that totally does make sense. And I will say this: I worked as a death row correctional officer in Texas, where they actually execute, people. I have been shown things. I have been, offered experiences in my life that have led me to understand and to believe there's a day you're born and there's a day you will leave this planet. You can't do anything about those two dates, in my view. You can't do anything about those two dates. What you're responsible for is that dash between those two. And, the way that you treat people should manifest that belief. The way that you operate on a daily basis should be directed at this very limited time that we all share the same space. And so, yes, profoundly, it has affected me in that way. I'm not there exactly yet, where I'm completely, I still do bad things. I still, I'm a moron. Okay. But I'm a moron that means well. How about that?
I think we all are, right? A
Yeah,
lot of us are.
for me, I'm going to speak for me. I definitely am.
So, okay, so you had this profound thing happen to you, where it's there essentially forever, and then you obviously sought out, try to find solutions, right? So, tell us a little bit about that journey, and then ultimately what led you to Melody Clouds, and how you also figured out that it's much bigger than just tinnitus.
Yeah. Yeah. So, in May of last year, so 2022, we're talking about. May of last year, I had a friend of mine who knew that I had this tinnitus. Okay. And we were talking, he goes, hey, I want you to listen to something. This is going to freak you out. And so I was like, okay. So he had me listen, put a pair of headphones on and had me listen to this really kind of, weird music, it was very ethereal or ethereal music or whatever. Right. Okay. And I was like, okay, what am I supposed to be hearing? He goes, all right, well, let me try something else. So two more times he did this. The third time he played this music, it was like a light bulb went off. And I did not hear this whining in my head that I'm hearing right now. And I went, whoa, 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 stop. What was that? What am I listening to? Because it totally negated that sound. And he's got this big smile on his face, and he goes, that's a binaural beat. I played a binaural beat for you. All right. So that was at the end of May. By June 1st, I bought the domain Melody Clouds. And right now we sit at 300,000 files, 17,000 audiobooks, 138 Aesop's fables, 8,000 hours of lullabies, solfeggio, binaural beats, 8,000 hours each of those. And we are adding, in the next few weeks, we are adding 8,000 episodes of old time radio.
What is it? What is a binaural beat? If you could explain that, just talk to me like I'm a 2-year-old.
Nope, this is awesome. Okay, and then so a binaural beat is two frequencies. Our brains are electrical. You can measure your those impulses with an EEG. So that's how your brain communicates with your body. That's how your thoughts are formed, all of that. So if you take with a binaural beat, you take a signal of one signal in one ear, one signal in the other ear, your brain splits the difference and hears a third frequency. And it's measured in hertz. And you can change someone's mood. You can change someone's basically their thought process this way. PTSD, they use it a lot in PTSD treatments where people are either, very depressed or have PTSD. You can kind of block that depressive grief for people. And it's been around we've studied it intensely since the 70s.
Your friend that introduced you to this, so was he an audiologist or something? Or like,
no, it's just a regular knucklehead I play golf with. Yeah, I had no idea that this was even, that was my first exposure to all this since I've done a massive deep dive. You mentioned author, okay? So every time I've written 6 books. Every time I've written a book, it was about a subject that I knew absolutely nothing about. That's how I learned the subject, was going in, doing the research, and writing the book. And I'm in the process now of collecting that information so I can, either write a book or make Melody Clouds even better than what it already is.
My background is, pretty diverse, but one of the things is, we sell dietary supplements, and I see supplements advertised on television all the time for tinnitus. Like, are there natural substances that people take that can help, or is that just snake oil? I mean, like, have you found that there are substances that you can take?
So in my research, a very good question. In my research, I have yet to find anything that is effective when it comes to lessening that tone for people. Now, am I open to that introduction? 100% hell yes, I am. I mean, with a person, you will know the minute that becomes a reality when that person becomes the richest person on the planet. Because I know people that would pay any amount of money for that relief. Now, there are things, though, that you can do that will kind of distract you from it. Binaural beats is not a cure for tinnitus. It's not. The minute I take those headphones off and stop listening to those frequencies, it's right back. Hi, how you doing? But it gives me that temporary respite.
So, okay. Okay, so if you have these headphones on that are essentially sending the binaural beats through your ears, and you're just walking around the house or you go to a store, the ringing stops.
It does for me. Yeah, absolutely.
Can you hear other people talking at the same time?
Sure. Oh yeah, absolutely. But
why don't you have them on right now?
Okay, because then that becomes distracting. It does help me get to sleep way quicker. To me, it becomes distracting to me.
Okay.
So if I'm listening to you, trying to listen, I've got 30% of my hearing, remember. So if I'm listening to you, that is, it's interfering with my ability to hear you. Now, when I'm alone, I have a headband right next to my bed that's charged up, and it's soft. The headphones are soft. So I can go to sleep with this music playing. And if I'm listening to 432 hertz, it drops me like a sack of potatoes. So I have not gotten past the first 5 minutes of this track. It's crazy how effective it is.
Wow. When I saw your bio and I saw a little bit about it, and I just, I knew a little bit about tinnitus just from my background in the supplement space and just seeing some products that are out there. And in a second, I want to talk to you about what Melody Clouds is and how you really discovered that it's more than just people with tinnitus. And well, again, we've been on with Wayne Altman. What can I say his name? Wayne Altman. He is a 6-time author. I didn't realize he actually had 6 books. He's also the founder of Melody Clouds. He is also an Army veteran who discovered something that helped himself first, and now has realized that it's helping others literally all over the world. And it's more than just tinnitus. The reason why I also was interested is I don't know if I'm an insomniac, but I definitely suffer. I don't sleep well. I am a practitioner of TM, and I search out things myself from ASMR to THC, which I never even smoked a joint or did anything ever in my life until I was 44 years old because I just couldn't sleep. So I'm always searching things as well. And it's really interesting, again, what he's doing. So if you'd like some more information about Wayne, you just go to melodyclouds.com. And here's the kind of cool thing that he's doing. If you send me a DM, a direct message, which is at Mike Alden, send me a DM with the word melody, again, with the word melody, Wayne is going to gift you what do we give him? A year subscription?
1 year subscription.
We're going to give you a year subscription. By the way, you don't have to have tinnitus, but I just wanted to get to the story if you've made it to this point so that you can understand how we got here, because this is where greatness begins. It usually starts when someone's individual problem or their challenge happens, and then they discover that it has a greater good for it. So again, if you'd like some more information, go to melodyclouds.com. And if you're interested, if you're like me, if you're stressed out, you can't sleep, you have issues. I did spend some time checking this stuff out. You heard him a little bit. We're going to talk a lot about it. It works. The first 21 people, I think we said 21 people who send me a DM with the word melody at Mike Alden. I'm going to then connect you directly with Wayne, and you're going to get a year subscription for free. So that's pretty awesome. Thanks for doing that.
That's my pleasure. 100%. Yeah.
So yeah, you heard me say it a little bit. I have trouble sleeping, and there's a lot of reasons why, and it doesn't really necessarily matter. I don't necessarily have, I don't think a real chronic issue. It's just, I'm watching TV. I'm just an entrepreneur, and maybe too much caffeine or whatever. And I watch too much TV. There's a lot of reasons why. But I do always say to myself, man, like, that's why I practice TM, because I try to relax. So people, average everyday people, they're looking to relax throughout the day, at night. Talk about these binaural beats and the other parts of Melody Clouds and how it can help the average ordinary person who doesn't necessarily have a disease state or some sort of acute injury, but they're just looking to just slow down and do it naturally without any sort of like substance.
That's what's really cool, Mike. We were talking a little bit before. I am the least woo-woo. I mean, I'm straight up, correctional officer, military, I'm the least woo-woo guy on the planet. I was shocked out of my socks when this actually worked for me. So it really struck me. I got to find out what the heck is going on. What's even, to me, binaural beats, that's one thing. I've got a list in front of me at all times of what these binaural beats do. Excuse me. And which ones work for me. Now, I will tell you what really convinced me this was a real thing is the same frequencies that worked for me did absolutely nothing for some of the other people that I introduced them to. And I sat there disappointed at first. And I went, wait, this isn't, what's going on? I knew it worked for me. And I realized the same thing happens with pharmaceuticals. Sure. You go to your doctor, he hands you a little blue pill, and you're expecting a certain reaction. And some people do not get that reaction.
Wait, are you referring to a specific type of blue pill?
There's a lot of blue pills out there. Okay, I'm just saying, if you take a blue pill, you're expecting
blue pill that you may be talking about. But okay.
Yeah, you're expecting a certain reaction. And if you don't get it, it doesn't mean that the blue pill wasn't a blue pill and it didn't work. What it means is you're different. Your body chemistry is different. It didn't work for you. You may be suffering from something else that blocked the effect. Let me tell you about solfeggio, because this I find fascinating as well, okay? Solfeggio was observed by Guido di Arezzo in the 11th century. He was a monk, and he recognized that even if you didn't play a musical instrument, even if you couldn't sing a note, you had the ability to tell when something was out of tune. Now, I can't sing. He was talking to me or about me. I can tell you when a piano hits a sour note. I can watch American Idol with everybody else, and I know when someone was off pitch, off key, whatever. I can tell. The same with you. We have this innate ability to sense those vibrations and tell, no, that's the wrong one. And we have the ability to appreciate when it's dead on. Everyone reacts well to the same types, to someone who can sing, for example. May not like the song, but you definitely appreciate the person that can make those notes.
So that's solfeggio.
That's solfeggio. Okay. Yeah. And
so solfeggio is our like human instinct or ability, natural instinct to be able to tell when a sound is out of tune. Is that what we're saying?
Yes. And you can play these tones for people having pretty much the same effect as binaural beats do. Okay. I'm one of those people now that I don't have to listen to binaural beats through headphones anymore. It took me a few weeks, but I now can hear those two and separate them, and it brings me to the exact same place without the headphones. Because it was actually a little bit of a problem getting to sleep with a pair of headphones on. But now I can listen to these, and it's not an issue. Now,
so in other words, these beats they could just be through a speaker or even coming through your TV or something.
Yep. My phone, my speaker on. I have a little stereo system in the room. Absolutely, and I know exactly how long it normally takes me, so it shuts off when that happens. Melody Clouds is pretty much the same thing. All of our music is cut. Let me give you an example. Okay, so we have lullabies for new parents. Okay, I'm talking to new parents out there. This is going to blow your mind. So the first skill we learn as little baby humans is how to self-soothe.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. How to soothe ourselves. Okay. And generally that happens within a few months of being born. With Melody Clouds, we can cut that time by a third, 2/3, because we do lullabies. Those lullabies, no binaural beats, no solfeggio, but those lullabies are cut into longer sections. You put the baby down, they get in the crib, they're listening to a certain music, and in the middle of the night when they would normally wake up, something startled them, they realize same music is playing, we're warm, we're dry, and they learn to self-soothe so much quicker. And we get flooded by people who have said, look, we this is crazy, because the sounds that are playing in these lullabies, babies do respond to. And that's kind of why. It's very basic type music.
So, my next I put my lawyer hat on, and my question to you is it something that's protected? I mean, copyright, yes, I could see, but can we protect this with a patent?
No. I bought the music. I own the rights to everything that's on Melody Clouds. I own. However, look, man, I don't live my life that way. I mean, if someone wants to come and be now, don't go getting caught selling it to other people.
Well, no, I mean, so as a lawyer, all your stuff, if you've created it and you own it, I mean, it is protected by copyright. But I'm talking about, is there a patent here? That's where I'm going with it, because that's where a lot of the drug companies are going with it. So, okay, so we're talking, so for infants, that's great. And then, so what if we just had, we just wanted to just be kind of chill throughout the whole day, like in the office or at home? Like, do you have stuff for that?
I do. Not only do we have nature sounds, so you can actually build your own surroundings, right? We also, are you familiar with Aesop's fables? You remember Aesop's fables?
No.
Okay, back in Plato, Socrates learned at the feet of Aesop. Aesop told these stories. You probably would be familiar if I mentioned Rocky and Bullwinkle cartoons back when we were kids.
Right.
And they would have the fox and the grapes. That was a Aesop's fable, or the dog with a bone, right? Okay. So I have a very dear friend of mine, Gary Meyer. He is in the Radio Hall of Fame. He was a disc jockey, is a disc jockey. He's got a great voice. And so I came to Gary with 138 Aesop's fables, and I said, Gary, I want you to read these for me. And he did. And they are these stories, all of them with a moral lesson for kids. That you and we learned these lessons when we were young, but kids now, they're not getting them. And I wanted to change that. Currently, while you and I are talking right now, I'm having those also, they're being animated. So all of these stories are being made into cartoons with Gary's voice on them, and they're tremendous. It's a lot of fun to re-listen to these stories, the frog and the scorpion, or the eagle and the fox. And he has these great stories about why you need to be a good person and why we have morals. And it's fabulous, man. And people can go on Melody Clouds and they can listen to it, and their kids can enjoy that as well.
You know, in the opening and before we went live, you know, we were talking about, you know, relaxation and people wanting to just kind of chill, like we talked about a few minutes ago, in this ever growing world and speed in which we all operate. And I'm one of them, but I have found that that you can actually be more successful when you slow down. People don't realize that.
Yep.
Are you finding that a lot of your customers that are going to melodycloud.com and subscribing, that they're just normal, average, everyday people that are just looking for a way to just kind of chill out? They don't necessarily have like a real quote issue.
Well, okay, so most of the people that contact me about the binaural beats.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a truck driver that tells me, hey, I listen to the Focus, like 417 hertz, and I can drive 30% further. Focused, I feel fresh when I get out of the truck. They're not extending the hours that they drive, but they extend the hours that they are fresh and alert when they're driving. Or I talk to the person that is in physical pain. And they've sent me a thing, said, hey, listen, I never expected this music to relieve that pain from me. You know, and it makes perfect sense to me once I started thinking about it, because you and we use music for these things anyway. If you're depressed, there are certain music that you go to. You have go-to music lists. That's why you build a track list. If you want to go to the gym, I can open up every single person's music list while they're at the gym and find out those people that are there to work out and those people there that are to look out, you know, that checking everybody out. You know what a workout
is. I was just listening to Ice Cube, so that was, you know, so that
right. You know that. Oh, you're going to get your pump on.
That's it.
You know, if you got the AC/DC cranking, you're a madman. You're ready to go.
Yeah.
Or it shocks a lot of people to realize, out of the millions of movies that have ever been made, only about 17 movies have no soundtrack. Even silent movies were not silent. They had someone at the front of the theater banging away on the piano,
sure,
letting you know what you're supposed to feel about those images. And if you've ever taken a horror movie and replaced the soundtrack with a happy rom-com soundtrack, you realize you've taken almost every bit of the fear out of that slasher pick. So music is really what drives those emotions. That's at the core what Melody Clouds is about. If you're stressed out and you don't want to be, come to me. I can give you music that is going to mellow you right the hell out. If you are afraid, if you are whatever that emotion, if you want to take control of your mood, that's our catchphrase. That we mean that. If you want to take control of your mood, you're mad, I can give you some music that's going to make you happy.
You talked about pain earlier, and I had mentioned a friend of mine who has had chronic pain. Do you have any examples of people that have
100% I do
that have, you know, subscribed or are subscribers in some sort of chronic pain, and now the pain is dissipated or gone away? Or
Yep, absolutely. As a matter of fact, 285, and look, I'll give you an example why this is true. 285 hertz is healing tissues. And this, look, I had a hard time at first accepting that these frequencies would help with all of this stuff. But the way that I explain it is this. Let's say that you and I are driving down the road. We come upon a car accident, and it's a serious one, and people are transported to the hospital, okay? There's a reason we take people to the hospital, and we don't just send them home, even, you know, when they're hurt. And the reason is because they need to be someplace safe, warm, dry, and they need to be fed while their body is trying to recover. You don't just turn people back home. Your brain allocates resources through your body to heal, and it does it so much faster if it isn't also having to fight or flight or, protect itself. And we've recognized this from way, way back in history. And that's why hospitals are here. So people can be cared for. And their brain, that is allocating all of these resources and creating the healing that we actually experience, that's exactly why.
Wait, I've interviewed thousands of people throughout the years in our kind of our other business as well, which we sell products and services direct to consumer a lot of times on television. And I'm listening to you, and I believe you, but there have to be doubters out there and people out there to say, well, you're a former corrections officer. All right, thank you for your service. But you don't have a PhD. I don't believe.
Nope.
You don't have your background in some sort of medical background.
Sure.
What really gives you the right, so to speak, to put this out into the universe and in an effort to help people? And a lot of these people that we're talking about are desperate, right? That's why we talked about this earlier. How do you justify being able to just be in a normal average, like you said, just guy or dude doing this? Because most people that are talking about this stuff have, years and years and years of medical training, PhDs, MDs, stuff like that. How do you kind of reconcile that?
Well, I think the argument from authority is probably one of the weakest. Listen to me because I've got this piece of paper that's, pretty, whatever. Okay. As we have found out lately, that's really not the way to go. However, I invite people. One of the reasons that I do $2.99 for 60 days, give people an opportunity to see for themselves. I'm giving this to you. Come, there are sample music tracks on Melody Clouds. If it doesn't work the way that I say it works, you're free to move along. I'm not, holding a gun to anyone's head. This is what I've discovered. This is what I'm offering.
Do you offer a money back guarantee? What if they try it and it doesn't work?
Yeah, of course I would do that. 100%.
Okay.
If they contacted me and said, "Hey, listen, I gave you $3. This did absolutely nothing for me. I'd like my $3 back." You bet. I'm going to put it on my website right now.
$2.99.
Say that again.
You said $2.99. I thought you meant $200.99. You're saying $2.
No. $2.99, Mike. Melody Clouds per month is $5.99. And it will never change. And there's not one ad on Melody Clouds. This is not a get rich quick scheme. This is a get rich very, 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 very slowly scheme. Is
it an app, or is it? Do you have to have the internet to use it? Can you download from Melody Clouds into your phone and save them on your phone?
You can't download. It is an app on the iOS platform, Apple, your iPhone and Android.
So it is an app.
And say that again. It is. Yeah, I have an app on both platforms.
Okay.
And the website is streaming. So you'd stream directly from the website.
Okay. All right. Man, I tell you, I know we don't have a ton of time, but I'm just fascinated by this. And because, I've been selling health and wellness products my entire career. And a lot of people that come to us, they want a pill, powder, or a potion that's going to solve their problem immediately.
Right.
And that's just the world that we live in. We talked about the drug companies a little bit earlier. This is really, really, really interesting. I'm glad you spent the time with us, and thank you for your service. I find sometimes I feel like I'm patronizing people when I say that, but thank you for your service. And you know what? It's kind of crazy, right? I guess if you didn't serve and that thing didn't happen to you, we wouldn't be here today, and you wouldn't ultimately be helping out so many other people, right? So there's always
it's definitely true.
There's always that thing there. Before I let you go, though, man, is there anything that you wanted to say, and anything that we didn't cover, anything you want to kind of just tell our viewers and listeners that we haven't already gone over?
Actually, no. I just want to encourage anyone that's listening to this. Look, we live in the greatest country that's ever been created, and you have every one of us has an opportunity to have an impact on the people that are around them, and then even further out. And I encourage people to do that.
Well, again, thanks for being here. If you'd like some more information about Wayne and what he's doing, you could just go, visit the website. There'll obviously be there'll be a link right there on the screen. And here's the thing, it's pretty awesome what he's doing. So if you send me a direct message on Instagram, not on anywhere else, but specifically on Instagram with the word Melody, he's actually going to give away the first 21 people. We're going to give away a year subscription for free. Okay, so just send me a direct message. I'll make sure that we connect you with Wayne. We'll get you a free subscription, whether you are in pain, whether you're stressed out, whether you do have some sort of acute issue going on, whether you have some sort of chronic illness going on. As a lawyer who has sold health and wellness products for years and also defended people in federal court on products and services that do help people. What I do know about this is that there is science behind a lot of this stuff, and this can in fact help people as well. So if you are someone who is in need and you're looking for something, we're talking $2.99, but the first 21 people who send me a direct message, you're going to get it for free for a year. So go to melodyclouds.com or send me that DM with the word Melody, and we'll see if it works for you. So yeah, my name is Mike Alden. That's Wayne Altman, and we'll see you soon.
I'm super excited about our latest program. Look, we've been on television for close to 20 years, literally selling hundreds of millions of dollars worth of products and services that have had a positive impact on people's lives. We've created millionaires. If you've ever watched television, you've most likely seen me on television, not dressed like this, but in a suit and a tie. Listen, we've re-engineered the process. We're allowing people, a small group of people, whether you're an author, whether you're a business coach, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you have a program or a service that you feel as though that can have a positive impact on people's lives, and you want to up-level your game. You're tired of what's going on social media. You're tired of AI is not kicking in. You're tired of all the money that you spent and you're not seeing any return. You're tired of all these fraudsters out there that tell you they're going to put you in Huffington Post or USA Today or Forbes, and it's nothing just but a joke. You want to be in front of millions of people every single day all over the country. Folks, we've been doing it for 20 years. We've re-engineered the process. We've made it possible for the average everyday person to participate in this. If you want to up-level your game, if you truly want to build your profile, if you truly want to get in front of millions of people every single day, send me a direct message at Mike Alden. See it on the bottom of the screen. At Mike Alden, put TV in the message, and I will get back to you personally and see if you're a good fit for us. Again, send me a direct message at Mike Alden. Send me the message TV, and we'll see if you're a good fit.